All right, ready to jump into a new deep dive today. We're taking a look at the world of dance using RoleCatcher's career guide,
Yeah.
Dancer, along with some stuff from their website.
Sounds fun.
I've always been fascinated by dance, but I'll be honest, when I think dancer, I'm picturing those incredible performances, not necessarily like all the work that actually goes into it.
Mhm.
What's the reality check like, according to RoleCatcher?
Well, get ready for some surprises.
Hmm.
The guide goes way beyond the glitz and glamour, revealing the real dedication and honestly just a surprising range of skills that are involved.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You almost have to think of it this way. Like a dancer is both an athlete and an actor kind of at the same time because they're channeling emotions, ideas, even entire stories, but just through their movement.
So it's like their body is the instrument and their movement is the language.
Exactly. And just like any athlete, the training is really intense.
I bet.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes the physical demands, the stamina that's needed, the constant risk of injuries, the irregular hours. It's definitely not your typical 9 to 5 job.
Definitely not for the faint of heart, but there's
Mm-mm.
got to be a flip side, right? I mean, there's a reason people choose to do this. And the guide also mentions things like high job satisfaction and working in a creative environment. And honestly, that sounds pretty appealing, especially in today's world.
It absolutely is.
So it's not just about the physical demands then, right?
No, not even close. RoleCatcher really emphasizes that passion for the art form is non-negotiable.
Like-
It's got to be there. And it actually goes even deeper than that. The guide lists fine arts knowledge as, get this, a core ability. Dancers need a surprisingly deep understanding of things like art history, music, even cultural trends to truly excel in their craft.
That's so fascinating. So it's like to really bring a dance to life, you need to understand its context, its history, not just the steps themselves.
You hit the nail on the head. And that's what makes this career so demanding, but also incredibly rewarding. You're constantly learning, evolving, and pushing your own creative boundaries.
So this evolution of a dancer's career is something RoleCatcher explores in detail, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they go into how those different career stages actually play out and how a dancer's role shifts over time.
Oh, absolutely. They really break it down. And it's interesting to see how they highlight these kind of like unexpected skills that become crucial as a dancer progresses. You know what I mean? Like early on, it's all about absorbing the choreography, just mastering that technique, kind of like you're learning a new language, but through movement, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
But then it's like, okay, you've learned the language, now what?
Right, exactly. It's like saying, okay, you can speak French, but to really understand it, you need to like dive into its history, its nuances, all of that.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher really emphasizes that as dancers gain experience, the expectation is that they contribute creatively, maybe even collaborating on choreography, which requires a whole other set of skills, communication, collaboration, being able to articulate your vision, all that.
So it's not just about like being a good dancer,
Yeah.
but also being a good communicator and collaborator.
Yeah. And there's also a mentorship aspect to it, right?
Oh, for sure. Passing on that knowledge to the next generation of dancers.
Right, like nurturing those younger talents. And that's where all those other skills really come into play. Think about it. To mentor effectively, you need empathy, the ability to communicate these complex ideas, and of course, a deep understanding of the art form, its history, how it's evolved over time.
It's like they become a historian, a coach, and a creative director all at once.
Yeah, pretty much. And RoleCatcher doesn't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah. They shed light on the business side of things, too.
The business side.
Yeah, because many dancers end up actually managing their own careers, networking, going to auditions, even handling their own marketing and stuff.
Wow, so it's like they're entrepreneurs as well as artists.
You got it. They need serious business acumen to navigate all that on top of the demands of being an artist.
That's a lot to juggle.
Tell me about it. RoleCatcher really drives home the importance of self-promotion, financial management, contract negotiation, you name it. These aren't skills people traditionally associate with the dance, but they are absolutely essential for success in that field. And let's not forget about like the whole resilience factor.
Oh, right. The guide doesn't shy away from the challenges like the competition, unstable income, even just the pressure of having to deliver a flawless performance every time.
It's a lot to handle, physically and mentally. RoleCatcher emphasizes how important it is to be able to handle criticism, manage injuries, and constantly adapt to new challenges. Just think about it. Dancers are putting themselves out there, physically and emotionally, every single time they step on that stage.
Talk about a masterclass in resilience. So much goes into it, and it's inspiring in a way. Like it really highlights how much more there is to a successful dance career than just like the technical skill. you
Oh,
know?
absolutely. And that's where RoleCatcher really shines, I think.
How so?
Well, they actually provide a ton of resources to help dancers navigate this whole complex world, you know. Their website is literally like a one-stop shop. They've got career guides, interview prep. They even have this database of over 120,000 practice interview questions.
120,000.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like next level preparation right there. What else is there?
Well, they have this thing called a Copilot AI subscription.
What's that?
It's pretty wild, actually. It helps dancers tailor their CVs to specific jobs they might be applying for and even analyzes, get this, their practice interview videos.
Wow, so they're using AI to like give dancers an extra edge in a competitive field. That's pretty cutting edge.
It really is, and it shows that RoleCatcher gets how tough it is out there for dancers, and they're trying to equip these artists with the tools they need to stand out, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, what I think is really interesting after taking this deep dive with you is how important nonverbal communication really is. And dancers, they're like the masters of it.
That's true. They convey so much emotion, even a whole story sometimes, without saying a single word. It makes you wonder how we can all improve our own nonverbal communication skills, you know?
Absolutely. Imagine if, like, a CEO could command a room with the same presence and intentionality of a dancer, or if a teacher could captivate their students with really expressive body language.
It's about like being aware of our physicality, right?
Mhm.
How we hold ourselves, our gestures, our facial expressions, they all say something.
Exactly. And just like dancers rehearse their movements, you know, we can all benefit from being a little bit more mindful of our own nonverbal cues.
It's definitely a powerful tool for things like building relationships, conveying confidence, even just being more creative.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I guess the question is, if the core of a dancer's work is all about communicating through movement, what can we, in our regular everyday lives, actually learn from that?
Yeah.
Like, how can we apply that to our work, our relationships, everything?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it's about precision, you know? Intentionality, every single gesture, every glance, it carries meaning. So it's like you said earlier, finding the dance in everyday life.
Totally.
Like paying attention to those subtle movements, those unspoken expressions that add another layer to our interactions.
Beautifully put. I love that idea. Finding the dance in every day. So listeners, next time you're lucky enough to catch a dance performance, really pay attention to those little details, those nuances. You might be surprised at what you learn and what you can actually apply to your own life, both personally and professionally. It just goes to show that there's always something more to discover, even in the things we take for granted every single day.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, a huge thank you to you for joining us today for this deep dive into the world of dance. It's a world that's honestly so much more multifaceted and way more inspiring than I think a lot of us realize.
I agree. Thanks for having me. It was fun.